Songpond TV.
Welcome back to Songpond TV. This is episode 9, and like I mentioned last week, today we're going into the music shop where we're going to have a look at a few guitars for you. Entry-level guitars right up through to a Martin D28. Come on, let's get inside. Okay, so here we are. I've grabbed what is probably the cheapest guitar in the store, and this is a nylon string 3/4 size acoustic. Now I think last episode you were listening to me talk about the different types of strings you can use. You've got steel strings, nylon strings, different gauges, that's the thickness of the strings. This particular guitar has nylon strings. You can tell that it's got nylon strings because when you play it, it's just that very soft classical sound. So this particular model is an Ashton guitar, which is designed in Australia, and of course, like a lot of the cheaper guitars these days, are made in China. 3/4 scale, for those that don't know what that means, 3/4 scale means, if I hold up a larger guitar behind it, it's slightly smaller. This is perfect for children or small people, or if you don't mind having a smaller guitar, if you want a guitar to take away with you. So 3/4 size, that's what that means. It's slightly smaller, and of course they can come smaller again. You've got half size guitars. This particular one, as I said, just 3/4 size. So first things, as we talked about last week, what to look for, just make sure that if this is the one for you, if you like the sound of a nylon string, just put it in your lap and see how that feels. Right, I'm probably a bit too big for this. I'm 6'2", so this is actually quite a small guitar for me. But for the sake of this, of course, we're showing you. Sits nicely on the lap. Have a look down the neck.
It's really for the 7-year-old, but the 9-year-old.
Is it nice and straight? Is there any bends or twists or warping in the neck? And of course, usually with a brand new guitar, there's not, but it always pays to have a look. Have a look around the guitar. There's no cracks or anything on the neck or in the body. Pick it up, have a play. If you can hear this now, we're in a music store, so there's quite a bit going on, so it may be a bit quiet, and this particular guitar is not mic'd up. But I'm going to play just a few open chords, and you'll be able to hear what a nylon string sounds like. So yeah, it's that classic sort of classical guitar sound. Soft nylon strings, great for learning if you're an absolute beginner because they are simple to push down. All right, next on the list is one of the cheaper steel string guitars. All right, see you in just one moment. Okay, so what we have here is one of the lower end or cheaper steel string acoustics. Now this is full size. This is a full size acoustic guitar, not a 3/4 size like the smaller nylon string. Just while I'm on the topic of price, I'm just about to get on the price. That nylon string that we had just before was one of the cheaper guitars in this store. Now I'm in a store in New Zealand, and New Zealand dollars, the nylon string guitar was, I think it was $129. So that's about 60, 70 US dollars. So that's pretty low end. That's a good entry level nylon string. This particular steel string, being a little bit larger and having steel strings, it's also got a solid wood top. Now that's actually quite a nice feature. This is 300 New Zealand dollars, which is approximately about 150, 170 US dollars. Okay, so we're getting up the range in terms of price now, but still very entry level in terms of what's affordable. Okay, as I mentioned, this has a solid wood top. Now, solid top or solid back or solid sides is something that really helps a guitar resonate and sound really nice. Usually you don't see a solid top or sides or back guitar at about this price. So this is a very well priced guitar. One of the things you may want to ask for one of the friendly staff in your store is, if you're unsure whether it's a solid top or solid sides or solid back, just ask. They will almost always help you out, and if they're not going to help you out, then go to another store. These guys are great. So yeah, just ask. Or you may be able to see here, sometimes the manufacturers put little tags on. This one actually just tells me straight away, this Ibanez has a solid top, and it's even got a wee byline there, provides an even richer sound with age. And basically that means, like a good wine or like anything, as it gets older and matures, this solid piece of wood is just going to take on a life of its own. All right, so again, like the nylon string, have a good look at the guitar, put it in your lap. This one feels a lot more suited to me and to my size. Still, I may actually prefer a larger one. As I said, I am quite large. This neck is nice and thin, so it'd be good, again, maybe for an absolute beginner, so it's really easy to get your hand around the neck and onto the strings. Alright, again I'll play through some open chords so you can hear the steel string, the sound of a steel string guitar. So it's quite a different sound to the nylon string. The nylon string was that very soft classic sound, the steel string is that very bright acoustic sound. Alright, so this is probably a mid-range price guitar for a beginner. I'm going to go up another level and I'm going to grab a 12-string guitar, so I'll see you in just a moment with a 12-string guitar. Okay, so here I have a Yamaha 12-string acoustic guitar. Now obviously 12-string has 6 more strings than a normal 6-string acoustic, and as you can see if I hold it up against a normal 6-string, these are the exact same size body, but the 12-string has a slightly longer headstock, of course, because it has to have more tuning pegs on the head. So that's usually the only difference in terms of size of a 12-string. Oftentimes you may find the neck might be a little bit wider to accommodate for more strings, and it may be a little bit thicker to make sure that the neck's actually stronger to deal with the extra strain that it's taking by having more strings on it. Of course, when you've got 12 pieces of steel that are pulling against this wood, it's really pulling hard, so it does need a lot of extra reinforcement in the neck or a thicker neck. How they're tuned, you've actually got each string, the first 4 strings, so you've got the E, A, D and G, they have another E, A, D and G, but that's a whole octave above. So you have this almost chorusy type sound happening when you strike the strings. So when you play a full chord, it just sounds really big and really full. It sounds like a couple of guitars could be playing those particular chords. That's great if you're looking for volume. Simply you've got twice as many strings making twice as much noise. So again, it just has a different sound characteristic altogether, more volume. They are a little bit trickier to play because you've got twice as many strings. So it's probably looking at more of an intermediate level guitarist who's already been playing for a while, they've had their first acoustic, and they're looking at something a little bit different. Okay, the last guitar I'm going to grab is a classic Martin D28. Cool. Okay, so what we have here, as I said, is the Martin D28. This one is handmade in the USA. All the others that we've looked at today were made in China. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're crap, but the simple fact is this is a piece of art as well as a great musical instrument. What we have here is a solid solid spruce top. Both the Ibanez and the Yamaha that we looked at earlier had solid tops. This is a AAA grade spruce. This is probably as best as you can get in terms of wood for the top. The back and the sides of this guitar are Indian rosewood, or rosewood back and sides, solid back and sides. So you're looking at a much higher level guitar in terms of the quality of the materials that are being used in this, and of course the sound. You may not be able to hear as well as I can, but when I'm playing the same open chords that I was before, it has so much more depth to it. It's very warm. It's got a lot of harmonic overtones that are ringing through there, and it's just warm all the way through. It's not twangy and bright like the cheaper Ibanez. We're starting to get into guitarists' heaven, and you know, it's probably going to be beyond a lot of you, but it's always nice to have your sights set on something like this. Again, so it's probably not for absolute beginners, but it's always good to have a goal. So an ebony neck or fingerboard and Indian rosewood back and sides, solid spruce top. Martin D28 doesn't really go much better than that. Of course, guitars can come more expensive than this, but this is kind of the classic, the be-all. This is the benchmark acoustic guitar that everyone talks about. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. That's some information on guitars, right from the lowest end right through to probably what is, as I said, one of the best guitars in the world. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Don't forget to go to the Songpond.tv website to have your say, to let me know what it is you want to see coming up in the next few weeks. For now, I'm going to go and play this Martin D28. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Is that Father Christmas or Mother Christmas?
No, this is Santa Claus.